Oh,
Hold on.
I'm really excited that we've made it this
Yeah.
far. Like, it's the last day of shooting
It
for
is the
season
last
one.
day of shooting. That's actually really exciting. I haven't.
Like,
It doesn't feel like it's the last day of shooting. I think that's why it's like
no. But do you
no
remember when we started? We were so nervous and like nerve wracked. We did
nervous.
not like we had no idea what we were doing. Like we just
That's
rolled
true.
into this.
Jumped is more like it. I don't think we
Yeah,
will.
we didn't roll.
Well, like what is that? Like when you like slip on gravel and you're moving but you're not moving, and it's like that's how we rolled into it. Like it just
We aggressively glided. We just we aggressively. I'm
seriously.
gliding here. We aggressively did that.
I love that movie
Like
so
we hit
much.
the cab. I'm like, I'm
Yeah,
gliding here. So I think
absolutely.
so. Yeah. But
We
hi
made it.
guys.
Hello,
I'm Brandon. If you guys don't remember,
and I'm Sierra, and this is Still,
small talk is lame.
where we're going to talk about what was it? Meet your friends at the gym.
Well, weird like the
No.
choreography of connection.
Yes.
And like we saw and heard, we kind of like did some research, and I found this really cool. It's a post about this guy who was like, if you want to meet cool people, get the most expensive gym membership you can afford.
Not just cool people, like good quality friends.
Quality friends.
There you go.
Yeah, quality friends. If you're trying to make new
Yes.
friends and things like that, he said to
get the most expensive gym membership you can afford.
And then that's where you can meet people because, you know, they'll be disciplined, they'll be grounded, health will be important to them, and starting a new friendship will be important to them too. And I was like, what is some of the mental...
I'm going to just jump in.
Yeah.
There's two sides to this that I see that are, it's not problematic, but it's like, okay, here's what's going on. So either one, you are one of those gym people naturally, and you're already there looking for other people that are like that. Or you're actually not at that point. Like maybe you've never been into a gym in your life. Why the hell are you going to go to a gym to find all these people? Because you have to like going to the gym to be able to connect with these people. If you know what I mean? Like if you're not dedicated to actually going to the gym and working out, those people will suss you out.
You know what
I mean?
Facts,
like
because
you could be wanting to meet those people, but
what about the ones that are like the people that I think, you know, I feel like there's two realms, like you said, but I think there's an additional layer. It's like the people that want to teach, the people want to share their journey with another person who's starting their journey and just like being participate. Like we talked about it recently where you're like, I'm so tired of being on the teaching side of someone's growth.
Well, so you're not wrong about that. There is like the teaching aspect where those types of people can gravitate together. But if you are like if you can't handle that, like if you're not ready, if you're not at a point in your life where you are ready to be dedicated to go to the gym and ready to be just literally from like the physical side of it, like it's not part of your routine, it's not part of you yet. You don't have like
it's not in that.
It's gonna be difficult.
It's not in your body yet. But I feel like also maybe that's the part where if you're looking for that type of connection, because I've heard this a lot in a lot of people's communication relationship. The one thing is too is like I think one of the questions I heard about relationships is like how do I attract an emotionally available man or woman or whatever, and then the comment back to them was like, you need to be emotionally available.
Oh, definitely. And that's exactly what I'm talking about.
So I feel like if you're not emotionally invested and emotionally available to be around those people and to experience the discomfort that comes with maybe being intimidated or your self-esteem, whatever the fuck it's going to be. But like, if you're not ready to be in that environment, don't go in that environment seeking like, I need friends. You're not at a place to where you can even stay in that space with them because you won't commit to yourself in that way.
Let me try to like take the principle out of what he's trying to say with the gym thing. So if you're going to take the gym out of the equation, what exactly is it about those individuals that's attractive? And what he was talking about were all these qualities. Yeah. Right. He was talking about being dedicated, having a lot of like discipline. Being consistency, and then you also have like you're a planner, because you like some people go to the gym at a whim, but like most people like it's a schedule. I plan and I have like dedicated time around this. Like this is part of who I am, and they carve out those pieces of their life to make those things fit. So what you have to go to some not a group, but like go towards your interests. What are your natural interests that are actually your interests, that you're not like making stuff up like, oh, I see this on Instagram, I get inspired by this, maybe I could like it. Like, no, find where your interests are, and then try to find the people who are experts in those interests. And then that's where it is.
It's like the same rules of finding a mentor.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, does take work.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I mistakenly put myself in so many situations where I thought I was getting a mentor, and I was not. I think the big thing, too, I think we also just expanded on my idea of saying, no. If you are a person who is about health and wellness, you're going to find your people at the gym. If you're an artist or a creator or
you're
a dancer,
going to find them in that sphere.
Find them in that sphere, but find the I guess the experts or
the people who are being not just successful, because success could have many different sides to it, but successful.
Yeah, we talked about that on a different episode.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they're crazy and they're successful, but they're fucking crazy.
Yeah, so like successful, your ideals and your principles align, and they're also you could tell that they're open, and that you have to like put in the time to find, because you could also go to the gym and do what he said and find absolutely nobody, because you don't
depth.
Yeah,
because I'm telling you right now, So I just recently switched gyms back home, and 2 reasons why I like my new gym better. Not because of like the equipment's so much fucking better.
Just
2, the vibe, the energy in that place is so much more in alignment with what my goals are for fitness, and they don't intimidate me. They actually inspire me and hold me accountable more to like push and hustle, because I'm like watching all these people just like be so committed to their.
What is that like? I don't understand that.
What do you mean?
I've never. Well, sorry, we're gonna get off topic here, but like the whole gym intimidation or gym spo, like I just do what I do, and I have a level I commit to.
This goes back to how like I'm taking you to a bar fight, because you have this person, you have a level of self-awareness that I think a lot of people who may come in contact with you don't have. Like, for instance, I lack a lot of elements of like the self-awareness that you have. In our season, I have learned and developed and opened my eyes to those levels of being like, Brandon, you were so not present in those awarenesses of your behavior, your contribution to other people's behavior, and how you can sustain your own values without apology.
Well, but so hold on here, because I want to make it clear I'm not fishing for compliments, but like, what's the difference? Like, so when I walk into a gym, I have a plan. I know what I want to do. Hopefully, my body agrees with that, and I match it with the energy. Like, what?
It's right there. Like, literally, the fact that you already knew. You walked in with a plan. You didn't walk in like, I'm here. You knew your goals, and you knew how to achieve them. At least you knew the path of how to achieve them. Like, you just didn't go in the gym and just, for example, the first time I went into a gym not knowing jack diddly shit, I was like, okay, I went right to like, what do they do in the fucking movies? I got on the treadmill and started walking, and then started running, and then I was like, oh, okay. And then after I did that, I was like, okay, this is enough for me to feel, accomplished in my test to say, okay, I'm going to go to the gym. But it's a practice and a lifestyle and a commitment to like pushing your body, but you've got to know your body. You got to know what you got to want to work on. You got to know the basics. That requires a little work before you get to the gym, honestly.
So it was more like a lack of education?
Yeah, it was like, and I feel like that's the issue with people's intimidation. They think the gym, because like you have all these gyms.
But that's so easy. You could just Google that. Like, what's the big deal?
Just like in our professional world, you cannot teach common sense in the professional world. Sometimes in certain other social spaces, like the gym, it's not like sometimes your common sense goes out of the way. I mean, I didn't think to stop myself and say, this is a goal and this is an achievement I want to achieve, but I lack knowledge. I need to become a little educated, and I can't just assume that the facility is going to lead me there. Like, I'm just going to blindly fall into fitness. I have to set up a plan, a strategy, a focus, and so then implement it.
There's like a lack of people just doing that, like massively,
until they either get hurt or they or until someone else intervenes. Like, I've seen it on small occasions where like another seasoned gym goer will educate another, like a newcomer, like my friend, a good friend of mine, like one of my best friends, that's how he got more educated on top of his own self-education, but he was able to fact check with other seasoned gym goers to become a better, participant in his own like physical health and fitness.
So this is like a great example of how misleading that advice was. Because I can understand
how open it is. Like it's like, wait, what? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you missed a piece. Like, I don't know if it was because they want us to like click and find out more, but like
maybe, I guess
sometimes those statements that's not it's open ended. It's like, wait, there's so many channels there's a lot of choreography that is missing in that connection.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's like made all these assumptions about whoever's watching this video already has that same type of mindset and understands the precursor to all of those things. And regular ass Joe Schmo over here who's never been to the gym or had fitness in their life, period, going to the most expensive, like that doesn't...
Who is also
that didn't make sense to me.
Who's also seeking out connection in your...
In a foreign environment.
In a foreign environment and an environment that is not necessarily geared to like chatting it up.
Yeah, no, most people that are serious about the gym don't talk.
Yeah, they're not like...
They're like, I'm focused.
Like, well, and that's also... And then you interrupt that energy that a person is creating.
I get
those endorphins
irritated.
and all that kind of stuff. Like, you're fucking with the wrong people.
Yeah.
Like, maybe find other... Oh, but you know why he said expensive gyms? Because what do expensive gyms also have? Sometimes
saunas,
they have juice bars. They have public spaces to communicate
I
in.
wasn't thinking about that.
But again, it's just like...
But
again, it's like... That's one avenue of choreography of connection. That's the episode about. But like that's one way.
Well, that's why I said
that's one way to step on somebody's fucking toes and get like thrown off the dance floor.
That too, but that's why I said extract the principle. What is he talking about? Find some, because he's obviously passionate about the gym, and he just thought about that and didn't put any more thought into it.
So to connect with people,
find your sphere and find who's good,
or find your principles and find the community within that, and find out if those principles are artistic people. Are they, adventurous? Are they exhibitionists? Are they daredevils? Like,
well, that's your sphere. Those are principles.
Those not principles. Yeah, those are like find your community.
Yeah.
Find your community, and then among your community,
pick the right ones.
Pick the right people that you gravitate to like say, okay, these people embody the same attributes or attributes that I want to eventually get to. Because that's the piece that everyone forgets. Find somebody who makes you
have to know what you want before you do that.
Yeah. And that was where I was going to like a lot of what I think a good choreography, I guess, to become but to become more seen and invited and inviting is like, what stuff have you not dealt with and healed from that makes you a difficult person to communicate with or really great to communicate with?
I don't even think you can approach that until you figure out what you want.
Yeah.
Because
what you want and what you're willing to do, or just what you want. Because sometimes I think you can say, I want $1 million, but what are you going to do?
No, you have to go with what you want and then sort out what you're willing to do from that. What you want is the goal.
Of course.
And then you have to figure out if it's realistic or not. That's what I think. Because I could want $1 million and I'll bet I could make that happen too. Because that's just how I am. I don't deal with ceilings very well. Ceilings are kind of abstract to me. Like if I say I want to be like a genetic fucking bioengineer or something, which is not what I want to do, to be clear. But I would just plow the path and figure out how to do it. Like what school do I have to go to? What degree do I have to get? What degree do I have to get that's also competitive in hiring in the next 10 years? Because not right now, because it's going to change. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it takes probably more than 10 years to do something like that. But anyway, like you got to figure that stuff out and then figure out in that degree, what specialty do I like? Is there and if along that path, I figure out there's no pathway that I like, bye, move on to the next thing. Like, what's the big deal? That's the way that I think.
This is why I love it so much. Because she's just kind of like, and I'm like, there are so many people who go trip fall, and then
no, but there's trip falls along the way. But that's what teaches you.
Yes, but even in your explanation, your trip fall is more like you having to bend down to tie your shoelace. Another person is like they're in a ditch with just like a rope, and they've never rope climbed before.
That's because they commit.
But again,
you can. There's ways to commit though without I don't think people understand fucking research though. Before you commit anything financially, they'll be like, I want to be a physicist or something, right? Some ridiculous thing.
Right.
And they will commit cold hard cash towards that goal. No, figure out if that's going to fucking work for you or not. Like, do the research online. Do the research in the schooling that you're going to have. And what kind of career are you going to look for with that degree? Is there actually a career that interests you? And then who do you have? That matters. Who do you have? Who can you find? Yeah. And then before you commit money, which is really what gets people into the pits that you're talking about, you gotta do all this setup first.
Well, I feel like, but I think
what's the big deal?
Fear is a big thing. I think fear and discomfort. But but as a person, and I think and this is the best part about why we have our show, is that we're coming at it from two different perspectives and angles and experiences of our lives. So for me, I could think the same thing that you're thinking, like plan it out. Yeah. But I have been imprisoned by planning paralysis, where I have planned, like my first clothing brand. Planned the bejesus out of it till I was like I was just in a cycle of planning, never doing, but always planning.
That's what mentors are for.
True, but sometimes I truly believe now, especially after us achieving this goal and just saying we're going to do this, and then here we are now, like filming our final episode, starting an apparel agency, building another business, like all this stuff within a matter of 2 years. I will say it's a double-edged sword for me, because some of it I had to just fucking go. Yeah. Like I just had to be like, just do it. But I did. Okay, to your point, I had the knowledge. Yeah. Like I had some other things the pitfalls were like, okay, how do you fucking set up a business and how do you do this?
Yeah, like some of like the syntax type shit. Yeah. But here's the thing. It's also easier for you to figure out a path with things that you actually like and are inclined towards. Like for me, I'm not, like, I love science, you know what I mean? But I'm not inclined towards physics that I know of. Maybe I haven't got into it enough, I don't know. But not something that I'm like, oh, I want to do that. Like my inclinations are psychology. Yeah. And that's like breathing for me. I can like listen to, like if I was at a lecture hall taking a college course and someone was lecturing me, that would just be like breathing for me. There's not a lot of... I still think you should do it. Like, well, I plan to, but like it's time, money, whatever. This is the forefront right now. Like I gotta divide my efforts and conquer. Right, and we're not even in the same state where I'm gonna end up living eventually. So that's literally on the back burner till later, till like 2026. But I intend to with the GI Bill. Yeah, kick your butt if you know. Well, at least bachelor's. I don't know about it. Anyway.
But anyway, guys, so we totally do this because, like I said, we are still getting to know each other, so this is kind of fun. But I think, but I feel like the first step in your choreography to connecting with people, someone, and even yourself,
know yourself.
Is, like, know what you want.
Well, know what you want, yeah.
And
really
know
yourself, because if you don't know yourself, you won't know what you want.
Well, I personally think they come hand in hand, because
how?
As a person who suffered through recovery, I knew I wanted to get drugs.
Yeah, but that's not knowing yourself.
That's true. Okay, fair enough. That's true. That's true.
Yeah. Knowing yourself is knowing, like, when all of those exterior forces aren't applied, who are you?
Yeah. Okay.
That's knowing yourself.
Yeah. I didn't listen to it again. I haven't listened to it since I think we recorded our last episode, but The Mountain Is You. I was just like, the book on
the one of a million that you're reading all at the same time.
I know. I'm a sponge for some of this stuff, because just like you said, like I want to figure out how to not make up for lost time, but like, there are reasons why certain actions, behaviors, and environments still coexist in my life, and I want to get to the bottom of it. Like, why are some of them self-sabotaging? Why am I around constant toxicity? What is this whole like?
Because you have to find those parts of you that are still inviting that, and either shift it or delete it.
Yeah, it's right now. It's like I'm defragging a lot of things.
I love how we just went to computers. Yeah, shift, delete, defrag.
Yeah, I'm just defragging, as and I think my first attempt at trying to defrag is like how I dated and how I let people in.
You might need to use a different word. I don't know.
Oh yeah, like how I realized that this was a thing that I chose to work on to be a better opportunity to connect with people, and for myself to get better opportunities to connect with people, was recognizing how much I would just dismiss as behavior flaws or non-synced values and foundations in another person. Like, we are very like organized, determined, focused. We don't settle. We hold people accountable. Like, we are like that, and we're like that to each other. the moment one of us, like, I wanted the same thing in another, like, let's say I was like, I think I was dating like one, two, I was like, that sounds really harsh. I was dating, and each of the guys that I had dated, not at the same time, but they were shortly after one another because of their traits and behaviors. I was like, wait, this is so
not what I want.
Yeah. And instead of seeking connection or a relationship or a bond with someone, I sought the person, and the person wasn't a good fit. The idea of a relationship was fine.
Oh, so it was the idea.
Yeah, the idea of them, and the idea that this kid great.
This is, God, I can't believe I'm plugging him again, man. He's like, I have my favorite like comedy people, but I didn't realize how much he's like rooted in my like underlying psychology still. But Daniel Sloss, you need to see his Netflix special, Dark. It's gonna change your fucking life.
Okay, I'll have to
just FYI, it's a not everybody's sense of humor. Watch it; it's good. It might teach you something. You might not laugh at it though, but yeah, it's good.
But see, the thing
is,
I think we have learned the power of, and I really started enjoy is not the right word. I've started to fully experience uncomfortable situations and not be like, okay, fuck that, I'm out. Like, I've learned to be like,
now, when you say "fuck that, I'm out," do you mean
like I'm done,
literally, or like you disassociate?
No, I like both.
Okay,
I'm out and don't.
Okay.
Nope, don't talk about it. I've now become like, okay, I'm letting this in, and I'm not immediately regurgitating it or vomiting it out, or like going into this mode of being like, I totally hear you, and not.
So you used to just do one of those?
Yeah, like when the moment it gave me this like, nope. Not crossing that bridge with anything, with myself, anyone, person, environment, place, thing, whatever. Not doing it. Now I'm like, okay, let's do this. Like, okay, I'm super uncomfortable. I can feel it in my body how uncomfortable topics, thought processes, behaviors, people are making me, and then I will deal with it. Then I won't just be like, okay, let's compartmentalize this discomfort and then dismiss it, and then be a chameleon and then give them what they think they want.
That's interesting. So we're diverting, sorry, but it's not really. I think it's on topic, but
this is literally the path of how I was a previous communicator and connect, and like an opportunity to be connected to versus what I am now.
Right. Like, so what's your feelings on sitting in silence when you're around people? Literally, what is your feelings? Like what comes up? What do you want? What do you feel like? What do you urge to do, if anything?
I think the only times I've really been like that in two situations with family, and I think like boyfriends or dates.
But like when you sit in silence,
like me,
what comes up
personally?
Yeah, with people.
Oh, or with people. When I'm sitting in silence with people, if I'm not doing anything, I think I'm having, I'm probably finding all these other things to keep my mind stimulated.
So you don't like to be in silence?
I'm learning to enjoy silence, but I'm also learning how to enjoy the mundane, because I'm like, I think like my biggest slogan used to be, I thrive in chaos. And I'm like,
no, that's not a good
It's not. It's really
a good slogan.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that's what I almost said.
I really, once we get really better at editing, I'm like Throgan. Just put it right there, like Throgan.
Better at, that's me.
Yeah, when she gets better at editing, Throgan. If you just throw
Throga.
Throgan.
Throw with a W or O? Just O. I don't know. Just anyway,
about that.
But your comfort in silence is directly correlated to your. What did you just say? I forgot. You backed it up. For your ability to sit in discomfort with people and situations. Yeah. As your threshold to deal with silence around people goes up, you'll find that to go up, I think, too.
Yeah. Because, the funny thing is, or like without seeking a way to break the silence.
Yeah.
Like, let me.
Or stay busy.
Or stay busy. Ooh. Okay. So another disadvantage or another wrong step in, I guess, choreography with connection, especially the one you start with yourself, is being too busy. I heard that, like, sometimes being too busy is the pathway to also self-sabotage.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
And it's not going to be sabotaging the things that keep you busy. It's going to be the things that you want to do that are on the back burner. That's what the sabotage is. Yeah. Or the things that are on the back burner that shouldn't be. Like, they're big issues, but they're,
Oh, yeah. Totally know about all those. Yeah, super. I used to always be like, I'm so busy. I'm so busy. Like, nope, it's not a thing anymore. I'm trying to get okay with not having something always to fucking do.
But there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I feel like there's differences. So like being busy for the sake only of being busy, that's one thing. But being busy because it kind of like what you just do a lot and you enjoy every of the things that you do and you're on top of that's different.
Yeah.
People who are busy to only be busy, that's not.
Yeah. I'm waiting. I'm hoping I find the rhythm, like the melody of all of our busy, like between this, the businesses, and then building this. It's like, whoa,
it's a lot.
Yeah, so
like you're at a crescendo right now.
Yeah, I'm at a crescendo, and I'm also just like in that moment right now. I just realized, like, Brandon, that's not you're misguiding yourself of what busy is.
Oh, really?
That right there was like, Brandon, you're not busy for the sake of being busy. You are just busy. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, I think you're just busy. Like, for real. That's well, and a great example of how like the discomfort, I guess, with like silence or this discomfort of dealing with situations in the moment when you're, you know what I mean? Like, a great example of that was us in the car on the way here. You were totally like in a million directions mentally, and you're not like distracted on our phone driving, but like I was driving, he was on his phone, and you obviously just you were multitasking, but then you were scrolling for a little bit. I heard it, and then you were like, no judging, but like you escaped for a little bit, and I didn't feel the need to fill that silence because you had shit to. That's because I'm comfortable in silence though, and if I added anything to that silence, that would be another distraction to you, and I understood that I didn't need to do that, and so you just. But all that went through my mind, though. I was conscious about all that.
And there's another step of positively choreographing communication, understanding that sometimes in silence, it's okay, and recognizing that you breaking the silence isn't helping the situation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like sometimes I think there was always this thing of being like, if there's a break in silence when you were connecting with the person,
you've disconnected. No, that's not true.
Like, you haven't worked. It's like, well, no, maybe those things have given you a response to be like, I need to ponder that. There's nothing. I don't have any. I'm uncomfortable or whatever.
Or it could just be that only one of you is carrying the conversation, and you need to realize that. Because it's quiet, it could be quiet because you stopped putting in the work.
Ooh,
that's a good. If you're the only one carrying a conversation and it goes silent, and you realize that, but the other person doesn't really seem bothered or connected still with you, it's because you were carrying the conversation, and they weren't that interested, they weren't that invested, or they're just not aware enough to be like, oh, that's my turn, sorry, like, or that maybe y'all don't need to keep talking. Like, that happens at parties a lot. I feel like, it does.
Or like the silence there is just like a necessity.
Yeah,
like it just is like everyone's like everyone's quiet. Shh. Like no, like it just probably is just like an energetic necessity. Being like, everyone is just spitting out so much stuff. There may need to be a moment of like.
Silence can teach you a lot, though. Like, you could take so many cues from silence. Like, I can always tell when if I'm discussing something with somebody and we've gone off the deep end somewhere, like we're in the weeds with whatever we're talking about. Yeah, like that. And they all of a sudden shift from giving, not even like, it's not like I need details. Like, they could still be like pretty vague things that they're saying, but like if they've all of a sudden switched or very slowly started to give less information and their answers are shorter and like their body language starts to disconnect, I've either completely exhausted the topic to the point that they've thought of it, like they don't have anything more to add on that topic, and they're at the limit for themselves. Yeah. Or they're not understanding where I'm going with it, or like there's a bunch of like internal barriers going up because that's too deep. There's like those are the yeah.
And I think it's a little bit of both for me. Like, when I'm now just like letting the barriers just like let it go. Like, not let it go, because I've learned to really dislike that term. Let it go, because it's like,
you don't have to let it. You could like choose to bring it out.
That's better.
Yeah.
That's true.
Because you don't have to just like that would be letting go. But you can choose, like, okay, we're talking about this. This is bugging me, but I'll choose this to bring out. Like, I can, that it's controlled. And the more ways that you effectively learn to choose to bring whatever is appropriate out for that time. Like especially in this kind of public setting, you know. But like privately, that's different, you know. Like you probably do more or less accordingly, whatever. But like that, learning that skill is difficult.
Yeah. So I think, yeah, you're right. So far, silence, having and understanding what your needs, goals, and interpretations are for connection are going to be a really good step to kind of understand. And then, you know, I just think sometimes people dance too fast when it's a slow dance. And I think other people dance too slow when it's a fast dance. And then that's why.
That's annoying. But is that, I've always wondered, is that like processing speeds? Like, I think it can be, I don't want to say IQ, but like, why does that happen?
Well, so here's a horrible thing is what if your dancer, like what if, okay, I'm using dance as a metaphor, but what if that partner is a narcissist? What if the other partner is a people pleaser? What if the other partner is a toxic empath? What if what if your partners already have a dancing style coming into the arena and you're like, you're a narcissist, so automatically you're going to step on my left foot before my right. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
okay. Or maybe because you totally like didn't use, you switched it. I see what you jumped. Okay.
She's getting there, guys.
Hey, shut up. All right. I'm the slow one now.
No, we talked about this last episode. I was like, yay, growth. We're getting our metaphors. And I just took it to the deep end. I'm so sorry.
No, but I caught it.
You caught it.
Okay. So, but I think we're talking about different things though. Or, well, I was talking about something. I hear you though. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But
she did. I hear you.
No, I hear. Like,
I know.
Okay.
I'm just giving you shit. It's more fun that way.
So when I think slow and fast, that maybe this is more like what I was touching on like a second ago, where it's like I've exhausted that topic to their knowledge. That's when maybe like I'm going a little faster and they're going a little slower, or vice versa. Maybe I'm the one that's not versed, and they're talking a mile a minute, and they're like literally talking a mile a minute, and they have all these things to say, and I'm just like.
So what if that was like the introduction of a person introducing themselves to you?
Oh, to everything? That's just how they are?
Like they're just like, and you're like,
but you know what I would, like if they're too fast, particularly, that would tell me that, well, one, they don't like silence. They don't deal with silence. Two, they probably have a lot of stuff about themselves that's not worked out. Depending on, like, if they're talking fast and not saying a whole lot, let's do it that way.
I was like,
because if they're talking fast and not really getting anything out, or not getting anything of like, it's just like word salad, or like, you know what I mean, like stuff like that.
Stuff that I do because I'm super wordy.
That I feel like that's, you got some stuff that you got to work through, or you got to really figure out what you're trying to say, because you're saying all these things, but you're not saying anything.
I think for me, it's more of this like I'm always trying to protect someone's feelings, so I don't have to like protect mine. Ooh.
What did that have anything to do with speed? You connected. There's another piece there. What is it?
Like when you said, like when like if that person is talking to you really fast, what are they avoiding? What's going on? And so I looked at myself, because I'm a person who talks really fast, as I'm doing it right now. But I think if I had to like step back and look at it and say, like, if I'm replaying this moment as an observer, I'm like, I'm like, yeah, maybe that's like, if I'm talking fast enough to distract the person in front of me mentally, I don't know.
But wait, is that a conscious thought?
It just became a conscious thought as we were talking about it. I was like, am I doing it because I'm preparing myself to either be uncomfortable, be challenged, be faced with something that is
that's interesting,
like something out of sorts that I'm not educated in, or whatever. Like, am I preparing for this like reroute, which is why I talk so fast, instead of just like, because I know a big thing is for me is like maintaining being an active listener, especially in my business and professional life.
That was my next thing. I was like, if you're doing all that, you're probably not listening either. You're probably waiting for your turn to talk. And it'll be whatever thought you had when you started talking, it goes on pause, they say their piece, and you hit play. And it's whatever they said kind of was like, you might context it with what they just said, but say whatever thought you had to. Oh, that pisses me off.
It's like when
sorry, I had a different thought. But like when kids kids do it a lot because they don't have filters. But when kids just have to say the thought and they can't hold it in their mouth, and it has to come out, and sometimes it's inappropriate. Like I see that in adults with like fast talkers. It's like
I've seen it on just non-fast talkers. I just seen it on people like that.
Oh, too. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or for, I hate using but you know what example I'm going to use where I'm like, just let me explain this to you so you have all the information before getting upset thinking that I'm not letting you talk. Like, there are levels in which you talking over me is only making it harder for you to be comprehended, or for you to even comprehend what the communication is about, because you're not listening. Like, and I'm trying to just be patient with you not listening because there's a solution in you listening. So yeah, that's very true. Lots
of learning.
Today is a lot of learning. And I also, I think I'm also just like mentally preparing for going like back home.
Oh,
and just like being after we film this whole season, I have so many communication connectors, reigniters, and I guess tools, you would say, like tools for us, like what we've established, and I'm inspired and I'm activated and I'm motivated, but I'm also, maybe I'm premeditating, which is probably part of the problem why it's such a weird moment right now, like wavelength in my head to be like, oh fuck, I have to go back to the same thing. And I'm like, Brandon, you just came to this realization that what happened November, January, whatever, that's not the same environment that you're going to be going into now because you're not the same person you were back then.
Well, the environment is the same. The way that you operate within the environment is going to change.
True. But the other thing too is I also need to stop being able to like try to premeditate situations until the situation happens.
Well, and like to an extent. Like
scripting my response and scripting my behavior based on it. Like, I have to really not do that because then I'm not leaning into the uncomfortable. I'm just waiting for my version of it. And then I can be like, oh, that's the version of uncomfortable I want because I already dealt with you mentally. So then it's like, you never really grew. Like,
so going to the scripted thing, looking at myself when I say all these things, when I feel the need to script a conversation, it usually means that there's some part of that interaction that I perceive is going to take place that I might have some blame in, or like not blame, but like if I'm walking into something and I'm especially like if it's a confrontation, I'm
prepared for like a volume or frequency or
well, something about that might be my fault.
Yeah,
and I'm scripting it because I have to prepare my response to shield the blame. Sometimes that happens.
Like the self-preservation.
Yeah, self-preservation.
Like, I'm about to be really honest with you, and you may or may not, whatever the case may be, but verbal daggers can be thrown, and I need to be like shielded up because I will take a cut, but I will not take a stab from you. Like, you can
I mean rightfully blame. Like, I'm actually at fault.
But here's the other thing too, is like a blame can be a cut. It doesn't have to be a stab. Like, okay. Like I'm prepared for you to, like, I'm gonna get wounded regardless, but the gravity of the wound doesn't have to be life-threatening.
That's true, but it also depends on, I guess,
the person
the blame. No, but like, what is it though? Do you need to go in and instead of, because you're like, okay, how do I view that, like that stab that they're gonna okay, but like, what did you actually do wrong? Like, do you need to, like, maybe that needs to get fixed, and that's higher priority than the scripting of the conversation.
It is, I think, of course, but I don't know if we talked about this on air, but like, I always say in any conversation where you do not know the narrative, or you have to reestablish it, or you need to figure it out, or even gather information about it, your goal needs to be clear about what you want to happen in beginning, middle, end of that conversation, no matter if it's conflict, connection, whatever. Like, there's a goal, because the reason why you're bringing it up is to either take accountability, give accountability, give truth, hear truth, whatever the case may be. But there's always a goal. And if you walk into a situation goalless or without intention that isn't manipulative, malicious, or vindictive, then it's gonna, maybe scripts are kind of like, that's like the Insta moment. So yeah.
That makes sense.
I feel like I had to say, but I don't.
You can mute yourself.
I was trying to, but it
you shouldn't have muted like that.
It was like, this in the podcast world, this doesn't do anything, but my body was like, it's coming out, but it's not coming out. It just kind of like got scared.
And you got it right on the top too.
Yeah, it got scared.
It got scared.
My sneeze got scared. scary sneeze. I'll be a little bitch and come out.
Do you do that guy? That works.
Hey, what? No.
What? You've never done that?
First of all, I have all these rings on. The last thing I want to do.
Here? You don't have any rings right here.
Okay, but doing this and with this, I've done it before where this has caught something. So no. But
you would just like get it in a. There's something about the philtrum. That's what that's called right here.
See all that work that you're describing?
No, that would work when you. I don't know why you put pressure on your philtrum and not.
Like still not. It's still not happening.
No, that'll stop it.
Oh my god! Now my eyes are watering.
Sorry, pause while we fucking try to sneeze over here. Oh my god.
I'm not a good sneezer.
I can't sneeze under pressure.
I'm a shy.
Is that like I can't shit in someone else's house?
Oh my god, those people.
Oh my god, funny story. Not funny story, just funny memory that came up. When I was
Choreography of Connection about pooping.
Specs. No, but that military youth program that I was part of. Okay. So this
with that little bitch.
No, not different person. Good person. I was at a training at Camp Pendleton. It was I think it was no, it wasn't boot camp. It was a different one. But so some training after the fact, and there was this, I can't remember if she was my roommate or we were just on the same wing or something. But
I don't remember our connection. But it was
a training, but like, so we were away from home at Camp Pendleton for 2 weeks, like not at home, for 2 weeks. You signed up for this. She flew a plane from a different state to come here for this training. She knew she wasn't going to be at home for 2 weeks.
You already seem annoyed right now.
Why the hell are you not taking a shit in your room because you're just not at home for 2 weks? Why?
Did she go to the doctor?
I don't think so, but she just, like, how? Not even like why, how? How did that happen? How could that happen?
The
2 weeks?
female biology alone is just a territory I don't want to go into.
So whoa. Our intestines are the same.
That's true, but like...
we got different hormones, but the intestines...
So part of me is like, someone's got to be driving the commitment to not take a shit, because I don't think any guy's going to be like, I'm going to hold this. They're going to go...
Right?
They will shit in the street. Like, I don't care.
Facts. No. Yeah. I don't know how she could do that. But like that just
I don't think she successfully did.
I don't think so either, but she tried. She went a weekend. Yeah. I only checked in a weekend.
But first of all, the fact that, like, well, you know what, whatever. Like, that is not a good choreographer of communication because she can't even communicate with her bowel movements. So, let alone.
Okay.
You got to go over there with your blockage of thought, behavior, and bowel.
Are we gonna divert for a little bit, or
we can divert? I mean, I think
good because I have another funny story.
Oh my gosh,
this is on the ship.
That's fine.
This is on the ship. Okay.
This is probably funnier.
So so we were moored. We were like stateside, and the ship was under construction. Like we were in the yards. So ships go through like phases of life cycles, basically. Like you can think of it like a butterfly almost.
It's an object. So yeah.
Yeah. So the ship will have like its building phase where it's not even a ship yet, not even commissioned yet. Right, so let's skip all that shit. It's built, it's commissioned, it's in the water, it's gone through sea trials, it's seaworthy, it did its first deploy, it got its crew, all this shit works. It went on a deployment. Okay, that was all one big one, right? After deployment, you come back, and unless the ship is still pretty new and you're pretty all right, like if you've gone out for a couple deployments with little workups in between, you after you deploy, you go into the yards, and what that means is like
a big sea NASCAR. Like a big ship now.
Oh, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Like your ship just went around the race, and now somebody's got to put new tires on it.
Well, the tires are the quick one. This is like, not like just quick fuel only. And then the yards would be like all tires, fuel, windshield, fucking new, windshield cleaning. I meant like all that kind of shit. You know, like where they just do the whole thing. The car lifts up off the ground and they drop it, and they like that, like the yards. It does everything. So everything, all the electronics turn off. You don't have water anymore. Like the ship is not usable for life. It's literally everything is under construction.
It's like a crater.
Yeah, it's just like everything is under construction. There's tarping everywhere. There's scaffolding all over the ship. Like imagine a new building going up.
This is setting up a great story for what's about to happen next.
Oh, I know. Okay, so most important is there's scaffolding and tents everywhere. And there's probably not running water most places. So when you're on watch, it's kind of difficult because there's usually like a barge that you have to be on that's separate. That's where you live.
Yeah.
So all the bathrooms are in there.
Yeah.
And so if for whatever reason you stand a watch that has a gun, you are now stuck on the ship. You cannot go to the barge. There's no, you'd have to like, it's a big, especially if you're in like in the middle of the night, not going to happen. So if you don't go to the bathroom on the barge and then walk 500 feet to the ship and go on and get armed up and do all that shit to go stand your watch, like if you don't do everything there, you can't come back. And it's like 5 hours. Okay? Let's put that in perspective. So one of my friends was doing that. And he was topside rover, which means you have the small gun and the big gun. So it's just a lot of shit to carry around. Imagine like an M4 with the vest and the belt and the fuck all the shit. Like it's just heavy and annoying. And when you're wearing the blue jumpsuit, that's zipped. So like to imagine when you come out of that, it's like shirt and boxers. That's it was a boy, right? Plus you got the flak over it and all that other shit to take off.
You got a lot of crap on.
Okay, so. He decided it was a good idea that he could get some privacy in this tent because that was like the only he was gonna die if he didn't use the bathroom. So he topside rover and he was like, you know what? There's a whole lot of privacy in all these tents with scaffolding. So he grabbed one of the contractor's buckets and he went into one of the tents. And imagine having to take all this gear off, mind you, insanely unprofessional to be stepping off watch. First of all. Like, that's all right. You're at risk for getting your money taken away if someone catches you. Because you got all your gear off. You're not on watch anymore.
Right.
Like, he did all this shit. And then he had to, like, get out of his coveralls. All the shit. Imagine just a fucking M4 loaded, laying on the ground. Belt off, on the floor. Kevlar off, on the floor. Like, and he just had to go take a shit in the bucket. And then put all that back on. And then resume watch. And figure out in the morning, it's like 2 in the morning, how am I going to get rid of that? Without anybody noticing. It was a long setup, but like that mental picture is necessary.
I'm still in it. I'm still in the mental picture. And the one thing that we have not discussed is the toilet paper situation.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
socks.
What did he...
So I'm going to take the boots off and use his socks. And then walk around with like 80 pounds of gear with no socks and steel-toed boots on.
Still want to join the military, guys?
Whoa. That was a bad decision, first of all. That's not a reflection of the military.
Part of me just like the fucking, like, A, for ingenuity. Sure. Like, your fucking socks became your toilet paper. Kudos to you. But first of all, back to the whole fucking thing. Like, plan your shit out. Literally.
Oh, yeah, plan. Yeah.
Plan your shit out.
Or what happens is people are good, and then they're like, oh, I need some energy drink to go and watch to stay awake. And the caffeine does it, and it's just like, I don't know.
But like, in that environment, there are choices.
Wake up earlier before your watch, have the caffeine, take your shit, and then go and watch.
Again.
Yeah, plan.
It's like, plan. Yeah. Literally plan your shit out. That's literally what I'm saying. Plan your shit out. But, yeah, if you don't plan your shit out in your choreography of communication, it's going to be a
mess!
You in a bucket.
You're going to be caught with your pants down, not prepared.
Caught with your pants down, using your socks. That's what you're going to be doing. You're gonna be a sock ass wiping mess.
Hold on, I just pulled a principle out of this. How did I pull a principle out of this? When you are caught in a situation,
plan your shit.
No. Listen, plan it. Otherwise, you're gonna get caught in a situation where you're not prepared, and you're gonna end up using tools that are not the best tools for the job, and they'll get it done, but it might not be the best, and it might not lead you back on the right path.
And you risk a greater.
That was good.
You risk a greater good. Of what is supposed to happen. Like, what if?
Yeah.
There's a lot of what ifs.
What if he had some, like, person...
There's a lot of what ifs in that situation.
There's a lot.
So, yeah. Think, people.
Think
before you shit.
Think before you act. Think before you speak.
Yeah.
Have you ever been... This is, like, going back. Have you ever been told that you think too much before you speak? Because I've been told that. Like, I've been told, why, like, well, I'll be in a conversation, and I've just paused, and they're like, are you good? And you're like, well, I'm thinking about what you said, and I don't have a response yet. I'm, like, really mulling it over, and they're like, what? Like, has that ever happened to you?
The first thing that comes to mind, in places of pure rage, where I'm ready to rip your fucking face off. I'm, like...
Trying to find the words, yeah.
Not even...
No?
Me personally, I have the words. Oh, I have them for you. Are they the right
The
words?
other words.
Yeah. No, are they the right words?
Yeah.
Are they going to solve this? Are they going to provide a healthy contribution to this?
Right.
No. And I've learned to not let that part drive any part of my conversations anymore. I will. Some people are like, Brandon, you shut down. I'm like, no. And if I didn't, and maybe I did, because if I went on full blast, you wouldn't be here. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and I hate to make it sound like it's a threat, but I also know my capacity for. I know my capacity.
Bullshit?
Or I know my capacity to lay into some people. I know my capacity. I know the weight of my trauma. I know the weight of my anger. I know the weight of my energy. I know the weight of like pent up shit that I have like learned to manage and channel in a different way. But when a person, place, or thing pushes that button, fucking run. But I've learned to be like, you get a 5-minute head start. But if you keep fucking with me in that 5-minute head start, you're still standing here in that 5 minutes, that 6th minute is going to be the end of you. Because I feel like I give enough warnings. I feel like I give enough presence about how like I need a minute to process that. You know, like I've had people be like, no, I want to talk about it now. You don't want to talk about it right now. Not with me. Like there are clear things. Or recently, I have stopped. I literally watch myself. I'll stop and go.
That's your face.
Like I'm letting it hit me. Like I'm letting the water balloon slap me in the face. I'm letting it actually break skin almost. And I'm like,
what kind of water balloon are you using?
Well, it's like another metaphor because I'm so good at them.
And she was just funny. I know. Anyway.
But I'm letting the words, I'm like letting all those daggers fucking fly. You know, I'm not blocking them or anything, and I'm not even premeditating, knowing you have them, but I'm not preparing for them, and I'm just letting them happen. After you've thrown them all, I could just go for the jugular, but I have to look at like, well, why were they throwing knives in the first place? You know, Like I received. Perfect example. I received I would say, in my professional career, or just even in my entrepreneurial journey, I received probably the hardest letter to reread, and I spent 10 hours in my room channeling the right behavior to apply to it. My response.
It was that layered for you?
It was layered for me because when I had someone else read it, I was just kind of like, they saw a different interpretation. They were like, oh, that has nothing to do with you. I was like, the fuck it. I was like, so it took, and it was,
that's hard.
And it was after like I solved it and everything got settled and I like stated like my truth, but like, my first visceral reaction was to literally paint the room red with their blood. I was so mad. I was like,
what's the context here? Is this a professional letter?
It was a letter used in a professional manner, but super attacking because that person was projecting their own fears. But then those fears led to this like...
And then did this...
but it affected it was about like my performance, professionalism, capability, practice, participation, all of it.
So it was just, okay. So it was very, ultimately, and so then the person that told you this ain't about you, and you were like, the fuck it is, like maybe they had the right perspective.
Right, and they did. In the interim, I didn't have that circle of community in that moment to help me get to that place when it happened. It was only after I had to take a minute. I took hours, and hours and distance before I enacted a similar behavior in that, like, you know, like an eye for an eye type of shit. That was like my first time that I was like, Brandon, before you go fucking murder these people with words, opportunity, like before you give them it back exactly what they did to you and then some, stop. Give yourself a minute. Like, I didn't get on the defense. I didn't get on the like I'm gonna fuck you up. I didn't get on the whole like you about to hear this. Like I'm about to tell you about yourself. Like I didn't do any of that because I ultimately was like, wait, my opportunity in here to participate in the person's response or whatever they were feeling that led them to even feel that this was a necessary way to communicate with me. I need to recognize where it is, which is why I read it over and over and over.
But that's good though.
For me, but that's how that's me being like, now that is I'm gonna stop for a minute.
Okay.
Like in a moment where someone's like, I'm gonna have you go talk to God for a minute because if you keep talking to me, it's gonna end like you're gonna be with God. But like, so for me, I think that I take moments because it's so much more beneficial to my life and mental health. Like,
so you do take the pauses, but
I have
not in conflict though. What about just good conversation? Because I do that a lot. Like I'm a thoughtful.
We do it. Like we have moments where I'm like, I need to. Yeah, let me sit with that. Let me sit with that.
But not us. Like
like I feel like some friendships, like okay, like for instance, like one of my surrogate moms, because I have several. There are sometimes they make me. I sit with things that they give me. Like I can't continue moving on in the conversation because I need to sit with it.
Good.
Because, and it's not because they challenged me, and it's not because it like affected me negatively, but it was more like
just pondering. Yeah,
this is a powerful moment that I'm not gonna just dismiss. I'm gonna let that sit.
That's cool.
Sink in. And
that's good.
Because like I feel like sometimes those silences are the seeds to your garden.
Oh yeah.
Like
absolutely.
That silence that you're taking is the seed to your garden of how you're going to bloom and blossom for the next opportunity in your life. When that sunshine comes back to your life, or the light comes in from other situations, things like that, it just gave that seedling an opportunity to grow because you took a moment to be still.
Yeah, to be still.
To be still.
Did you know that's why I love that name so much? Small talk is lame, and doing the acronym because we talked about it just a little bit in our like first meeting.
We talked about it a lot.
No, but not as much as I was like.
Yeah.
I was like saying words a mile a minute because all this symbology popped up into my head. You remember that, right?
You came up with small talk.
Well, I don't know who came up with the name.
No, you said I hate small talk.
Yeah.
And then I was like, small talk is like, and I was like, well, small talk is lame. And then I was like, oh, still. And then like that's how we came together. But you were the one who said, fucking small talk sucks. I don't want you to be small talk. And I was like,
small talk is lame. But like specifically small talk is lame. STIL.
Oh,
who did?
We did. We both did. We came together with it and was like, how can we make this sound cool?
Sorry, that's me. I'm gonna have to call him. My husband's calling me. I checked. It's the second time he's called me, so we're gonna have to pause and figure. But yeah, that's a good point to pause. So
pause.
Okay.
And we're back.
Apologies for the interruption, audience. My husband, he lost his wallet, and it just so happened we went to a restaurant last night, and somehow I drove, and he was the passenger. It ended up under the seat. So yeah, he was like, I need to go to my brother's house. I can't find my fucking wallet. So yeah, it was with me.
Married life. That's what it is, y'all.
Yeah.
That's love.
Yeah.
That's communication. Boom. I'm just kidding. I don't know what that means. That's not communication. That's just like.
Well, it was good.
It is. Yeah.
He was so freaked out though. Let me put that in context for you real quick, because I'm sure you were like, why the hell is he calling his wife because he can't find his wallet? How, you know what I mean? Like
I do that. I've lost my wallet like literally in the last year like 5 times. I've replaced my cards like 4 times.
Well, some people are like, oh, husbands can't remember shit. They was going to ask their wife. Like, so I have a photographic memory, so if I saw it somewhere, he'd know I'd remember where it was.
That's why. That's like balancing to each other's strengths. Like,
exactly. Well, I wanted to tell you.
That's like, I was like, but here's the thing. When you pay attention to the people you're connecting with, you don't make those, like, I know, like, if there's this, like, I think between you and I think, like, I just know that. I just kind of know that that's like amongst the dynamic that you guys have, what I've at least what's been observed to me. It's like, no, that's not. Nope,
that's good.
That's not a context that I think of. Like, he's not calling her because he's like helpless. I think he's just calling her because he's like, I've done everything and I need your support. I'm asking for help.
Good. That means we like.
Yeah, it wasn't like I don't think that.
I love my husband so much.
Yeah. It's disgustingly evident that they love each other.
Right? We're a good pair.
No, they're a great pair. But it's gross. They love each other so much. It's gross in here.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay, so we were talking about how the name still came to be and why what was it? You said being still in silence or something
Yeah,
like
being
that, and
still
you
in
like
silence.
triggered the hell out of me with all these like symbolic stuff. The reason why I like the name Still, STIL, when one of us came up with small talk is lame, we kept thinking of the last word lame or like sucks, like STIS wasn't as good, and I wanted to make an anagram with it. I was like, it has to be something good that almost like, could we spell a word with it? Like I remember I said that.
Yes.
That'd be cool. And when we came up with still, I was like, symbolically speaking, that's super cool because still implies a lot of things. Still could be still because you are listening, you're in the moment. It's a pause. It's a moment of reflection. Still could also be like it's about movement and growth.
Yeah.
Still because you're in the moment, absorbing something so you can move.
Yeah.
Still could be there's like so many things. Also, just like what we thought of when we came up with the idea of still, like the pictures in our brain. I went into that. That's how we were trying to come up with our logo.
Yeah, you were super visual.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have a capacity for about 80% of this because I
really
only like as far as a creator of our logo, I was like, okay, I'm taking all of these keywords
ideas
and
were
trying
lofty, and you were like, oh, okay.
I was like, how do I channel this into our logo, knowing what effectively goes in like the psychology and the consumerism and the whole like demographic and metrics and analytics and blah 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 blah.
So I went in. I was like, when you think of the word still, and I actually went around and asked a bunch of people this too. Like, what images come to your mind? And for me, it was like water in that moment where a drop of water is hitting a still, like it's a still frame of water hitting a body of water, and it's just like that, bink, like that. That is still to me. And then you said something, I forget.
You just gave me a really good idea for
what
some of our other stuff that I will talk about after the camera.
Okay, don't forget.
I won't forget.
But you said something else for still. What did you think of? You thought of?
I thought silence. Like right now, we're all so silent in our connections with people. We're just so still. Like we have no.
No, but like pictures, images.
Oh, for me,
Why did it pictures? Why did I do that?
I don't know. I don't think I had any visuals. For me, I saw the word STIL.
Oh, so you don't think in pictures?
Yeah,
How the hell are you in fashion and you don't think in pictures?
No, when it came to this subject, which was so, for me, so much deeper than any type of visual stimulation, which is literally all of my life. Like every day, I'm all about creating visually stunning things. So when it came to something that was more internal, I was like, nope, I just see the words. I just see them super like black, white, ... Like it's like a powerful, like these are call to actions. Each letter is a call to action. Small talk is lame. Like those are all these powerful, like these are powerful phrases. And when you put them together, it's like, it's clear what we're about. So that's why I did it. So for those who are trying to understand that, like what it goes into, like really creating that
was our thought process.
Your definitive like mark. That's kind of how we got there.
Because like you could come up with a name, but like if that name, like it meant something to us. It means something to us though. Yeah. Oh, I think still also had to do with time. Like I think when you're having a good conversation with somebody, time feels irrelevant and it feels still, but it actually passes very fast.
Yeah.
When you're absorbed in something like that and it's positive and you're learning or you're growing or you're just infatuated with it, like time feels still.
So I think that was,
which is why I always was like, we had our preliminary logo that we were thinking of was like something that had to do with coffee pouring and like frozen, because I wanted the water shot. I love the water shot. And so if you could like coffee out of a mug and it hitting a table and it being like bloop, and you just freeze it right there. But there was also a point where I was like, what if we could get a clock? Like
I tried
one of those like that famous painting where all the clocks are all melted.
Salvador Dali.
Yes. Imagine that coming out of a mug. But instead of coffee, it's like the face of a clock, like that, because that's exactly what it feels like when you're having a good conversation and it's coffee talk. Because we were also about coffee talk, small talk, like where does that come from? When do we do it? Why do we do it? Yeah. Coffee talk, coffee shop, dates, all that kind of stuff.
She was like all about the caffeine.
Well, that too. Well, we're both very coffee driven.
Things that were energizing and like just momentum, but it wasn't like uncontrollable momentum, like like a bullet train.
No, but it was very like purposeful.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of like those were our initial steps of like what we wanted to be able to step out into the this arena, this world with you guys, and
that helped us figure out the direction we wanted to take.
Yeah.
Period. Between us, because I think we both wanted to connect over small talk is lame.
Yes.
And then, ironically, our logo of all things is really what united us.
Yeah.
Looking back on that,
Yeah,
I think so.
We got to see still and small talk is lame, and we managed to get them to like live together, harmoniously.
Because we brought very different things. And
we did.
I think we both wanted different things in the beginning, but didn't realize it. Maybe
but we communicated it really well.
We did. Yeah.
We I think just to kind of wrap up our segment, like I think we really choreographed our communication a little well, considering we really never really knew each other.
I think we did it insanely well, considering we didn't know each other.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, insanely well, because you had your own things going on. You had a whole business going on the side, and we
just started
literally did not know each other aside from like an hour and a half's worth of conversation between the two of us.
We were inspired after we left each other, and then that inspiration,
that was it.
We chased that inspiration, and here we are now.
Yeah, in case you're only tuning in now at the last episode, go back and watch the first one, if we could figure out whichever one that is and upload it in the right order. Watch the first one. We talk about how long we literally had between us two, as far as face-to-face talking before we started this.
Same town, same area.
Less than 5 hours total.
Yeah, not even.
Less than 5 hours FaceTime. Mm-hmm. Probably less than 3 hours FaceTime, to be honest with you.
Because we didn't even have long meetings when we were.
No, but that was virtual. I'm talking actual FaceTime, face-to-face. Less than
5 hours.
You know what I mean?
Not even.
And then we just decided to do this together. Yeah, so considering that, plus you're fully invested in your own entrepreneurial job at this point, you have like a whole thing made for yourself, and I'm involved in a completely different world. Like, our worlds don't cross, aside from the fact that we're both you're more of a dancer than I am, but like
I think we're in the same plateau. Like
plateau maybe, but we don't.
I was dancing at Joffrey, that's for damn sure. So like nope.
Oh, is that upstairs? I think that's upstairs. Okay, but yeah.
Our studio isn't always just us.
Yeah, we got neighbors up there. But no, because I'm thinking it's my husband. I'm like, oh yeah, he came here in like 4 minutes. No. But yeah, we're both involved. We don't intersect in a lot of areas.
No, we don't.
Not culturally, not upbringing wise,
ethically.
Not like ethically. I mean, I was gonna say it, but like, because I think that's obvious. But like, there's no overlap really.
No. We are
face value, no overlap at all.
Like I think the true definition of two strangers building a bond, and like, I ain't going nowhere, so you're fucking stuck with me, just so you know.
Stuck still.
Like stuck still stuck still. Yeah.
But stuck as in not moving.
Yeah, stuck as not moving. Yeah.
See?
Yeah. So guys, if you guys love, I feel like I want to ask you guys personally, like, what do you feel has been your choreography? Like, when you go into a party, or you go into a room, or go into that business meeting, or you go into that uncomfortable conversation, partner, friend, family member, like, what are your steps? Like, do you know what your steps are? And
you might have to, like, hold on, let's break down, because we have it real quick. Choreography, for those of you who don't dance and don't know, because that is a little niche. Choreography is a set of movements. So when you dance and you're on the dance floor in a social scene, and you go to a club and you do like partner dancing, there is no choreography. It's lead and follow, right? And it's no one knows what they're doing except the guy, barely. Maybe like 2 counts ahead.
Maybe.
Right? Yeah. But choreography is like memorized movements within your body, doing it by yourself, doing it with another person, doing it with a group, and either you're all doing the same thing to the same music at the same time and everybody knows it. So when we say choreography, like, know your steps, that's more like, do you know your go-tos? Do you like what are those things that you fall back on all the time? What are those things you catch yourself doing? Like, what are your patterns? What are, like, you know what I mean? What are
your go-tos? What's in that tool belt for you to feel like I'm ready to engage with people? So yeah, tell us in the comments.
Yeah,
and
let us know.
Of course, tag us at Still Podcast, or check our Facebook page, Instagram, Still Podcast, and we'll see you guys there.
Bye, guys.
Bye.